Hello, everyone, and welcome to our last day of Utah Remote Con. It's so bittersweet. I'm so excited for today's lineup, and we are currently at $2,540 in donations to our American Cancer Society, which is amazing. We're so grateful for everyone's generosity. We're so grateful that people keep donating. And yesterday, last night, we're doing double raffle entries. So if you buy today and you bought 20 raffle tickets, you'll get 40 entries. And our prizes for these panels are awesome. I'm going to throw up our prizes for this panel just so you know what to expect. So first up, we have a t-shirt from Level 1 Geek, who is going to be on this panel. Adventure Awaits, an intro to TTRPGs, and some art and a commission offer from Noob Mom. So her art is fantastic. She also does TTRPG comics, so that is such an awesome prize. And then we also have, let's see, I'm going to pull up the second one. Another Level 1 Geek shirt and a $50 gift card to Ice Cream Dice so that you can get your own set of dice so you can start doing TTRPGs. So keep buying raffle tickets, keep donating. We appreciate all of you guys. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Chase, our moderator for this panel, so that he can introduce all of our panelists. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me here.
Yes, we're so excited for this panel.
I've got a little guest with me.
Yay.
Adorable.
Awesome. At the door.
Yeah, so as Steph said, I'm Chase. I go on the internet by Wholesome Dad Gamer. I'm a Facebook streamer. I do TTRPGs, mainly Pathfinder 2nd Edition, actual play, with actually all of these people here. So very excited. This is an awesome crew. You guys are going to love them. Do you guys just want to go ahead and introduce yourselves? We'll start just kind of in the order of the layout here, starting with Erica.
Oh, hi, hello. This is my first time really talking today.
Good morning.
I'm Erica. Thank you. Good morning. And I'm on the internet as Onduin, and I am with Of Dice and Dames, which is 3 of these beautiful dames, and our honorary Dame Tori.
Awesome. How about you?
My name is Emily. I'm also known on the internet as Anthrama, 1/3 of the Of Dice and Names crew. We help people promote their TTRPG product, whether that be their game that they've made, maybe they have a show that they need help promoting. We're there, so if you need to name in your game, let us know.
Oh my gosh, this entire time I have forgotten to say dame in our game.
I mean,
it's so catchy.
It's so catchy.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a failure.
Awesome. How about you, Tori?
My internet decided to cooperate just in time.
Oh, perfect. Planned.
But I didn't hear either of your intros, so I'm sorry if I'm breaking the format here.
No,
but my name is Tori. You can find me at Level 1 Geek. This is my dog Boomer. You can see her fluffy tail. And I run a blog about tabletop role-playing games, specifically for people who are new to the hobby and want to learn how to get into it. So that's, I suppose, what I'm doing here. And you can find that at level1geek.com. I'm also donating the t-shirts that look like this to give away. So
they're very cool.
Representing.
I love the logo. Awesome. How about you, Katie?
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Katie, also known on the internet as Winchester, and copy paste literally what everyone else said.
Awesome. Very cool. So welcome everybody. As Steph said, I'm going to be moderating this panel here, which is about intro to TTRPGs or tabletop role-playing games. So I've got a whole bunch of questions prepared for these awesome folk here. And I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. Now, I tried to focus these questions around things that I think are common questions that new players have. I still remember when I was a brand new player to TTRPGs and very exciting and it's confusing sometimes and a little scary sometimes, and it's all good stuff. So let's start with this question, and I think I'm just going to directly use it pretty much all of you, unless there's a specific question that comes up for one of you in particular. But we'll start with Erica again, and then we'll just kind of keep reversing it and going back and forth. What hesitations, if any, did you have about trying TTRPGs for the first time?
Oh, I definitely had hesitations about role playing in general. I've never been one to act. I've never been one to be anyone other than myself. And so the idea of attempting to play somebody else and have a different attitude and personality was mortifying. And it turns out that's my favorite part now of playing TTRPGs. It was really, really strange. It was such a weird experience, but once I got into it, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. I kind of love this.
Oh yeah, that's like everybody's response, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
how can you not love TTRPGs?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Em?
So I think the most intimidating part for me was to sit down at the table for the very first time and realize that I did not understand any of the rules. And I'm very much a kind of person who likes to feel like I know what's going on. And so coming into something that had something so humongous, that like it has such a humongous world, and there's home rules and there's rules from the book, and it's really hard to sit down and read a rule book when you're first starting out, and that was just intimidating for me. But that's actually not as big a problem as I thought it was going to be, because in reality, everyone else that's at the table is going to help you through it. They've all been in your shoes before, and they're going to know how to coach you through the process. So that was a fear that I had, that it wasn't a big deal.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. What about you, Tori?
Okay, there we go. I'm so sorry. My internet has been sucking it up this morning. Apparently, it is also having a hard time waking up. So can you please repeat the question? I think I know what it was. I just don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, no, for sure. So what hesitations, if any, did you have about trying TTRPGs for the first time?
Okay. I always was the only impression I had of tabletop role-playing games was kind of what you see on TV or in movies. And so I never really thought I was that type of person. I always thought, I wasn't nerdy enough, or like I wasn't a boy. So I just never really felt like I fit in that category. And my friend, he harassed me for months to play with him for one summer, and I finally agreed. And so then I did, and I discovered that they're just fun games for everyone, and you don't have to be a nerd or any particular kind of person to enjoy them. And I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah, I think it's so awesome that like we have like that stigma and that stereotype being broken nowadays. Like so many awesome people, like all of you that are kind of in the mainstream for TTRPGs now. I love that it's getting redefined. It's been super cool to see. All right, how about you, Katie?
I don't know if there's literally anything else to say.
We covered it all.
Basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got dragged into Anthrama and Wholesome Dad Gamer's basement for my first game.
Not creepy at all.
And yeah, I don't know. It was weird, and they threw a character sheet at me, and then Chase said I could do all of these things, and I was like, yeah, okay, that we'll do those things. And then it kind of evolved from there. So hesitations. I don't know. I get flack. I made fun of my sister for wanting to play D&D, and then I started playing it before, and she gets really mad about it sometimes still. So that's
Never gonna hear the end of it.
I'm never gonna hear the end of it. So yeah, going from making fun of it to here we are.
Awesome. All right, Katie, get ready. We're going to start with you this time again. So
Damn.
back-to-back questions. How did you get into your first TTRPG? You just kind of mentioned that a little bit. So actually, you know what? You just answered your second question. So we'll go back to Tori. How did you get into your first TTRPG? Did you run it or were you invited, Tori? And Tori may not be able to hear me. Let's go to M next, and we'll come back to Tori.
So I got into it through my cousin Daniel. He was like, "Hey, why don't you come over and play a game?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I love games." And then he told me that we were gonna all sit around a table and tell a story together. And I was like, "That sounds cool. That's not like any game I've played before." And so I sat there and I kind of like just nodded through character creation. I was just like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah." And just didn't know what was really going on. But I was really excited to just be there and be involved. And we played some D&D, and it was a good time. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. And Tori, by the way, is going to be right back. She is defeating said internet that she was just speaking about. So we'll
The big bad evil guy, for
She's
sure.
rolling initiative.
Oh yeah, for sure. Awesome. What about you, Erica? How'd you get into your first game?
So at church, I was introducing myself. And I was telling people, I was like, I'm a gamer. Like, I'm a big video game person. So I don't go outside much. You probably won't ever see me, like, in a joking way. But also, I was, like, 100% serious. You'll never see me outside. And this girl, Natasha, came up to me afterwards and was like, "Hey, I hear you're a gamer. Let's talk about that." And she was talking about how she was into like D&D. She's a professional GM. And I was like, "Oh, I'm not that kind of gamer. I've never done that stuff before." She's like, "Come on, let's at least try." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So we tried. It was really cool. And she was like, "Hey, I'm starting a new stream. Do you want to join?" And I was like, "What? I just barely played a half a session." But she must have seen something in me because here we are.
So you're like session and a half was on a stream?
Yeah.
Nice. That's brave.
And, I know, right? And I actually messaged her yesterday because I was thinking about all this cool stuff we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I messaged her and I was like, "I literally don't know where my life would be right now if it wasn't for you."
Oh,
It was just
that's super nice.
it's a humbling experience looking back on all of it. It's so great.
That's really been my experience with tabletop role-playing games, and that's kind of why I love them so much, is the social aspect of it. They really connect you with your community because you find more people who have the exact same passion as you do, and then your circle of friends just grows and grows. I mean, Katie and I got close because of it. I met you and Tori really because of it, and just having this similar passion. And I think this is a nerddom that really does bring people together. So that's cool.
So true.
Yep. I can like relate like most of my friends to TTRPGs, and it's pretty awesome. Awesome. All right. So this question, I'm just going to ask one of you. I'll ask you, Em. Why don't you explain for any of the viewers who might not know what a game master is, because that's going to be kind of an important term for this.
Sure. A game master has a bunch of different names. It can be a dungeon master. It can be an arbiter. It could be a storyteller. But it all runs down to the same sort of general translation, which is they're the person that's going to moderate the game. If everyone's sitting around and we're all a player together, then somebody needs to kind of help push the story forward. And if people say, "Okay, I'm going to do this," and then they're going to be the one who sits in the background and say, "All right, this is what sort of check you need to make in order to succeed at that." And then they explain the problems, or they make the story interesting. I did a terrible job at that.
Can I add to it?
Great to me.
Oh yeah, please do.
They're the person who will simultaneously crush your hopes and dreams and make them come true at the same time.
I like that a lot.
That's a very good point.
That's spot on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Also, I like the term arbiter with that. That sounds like exciting. That's a good one.
Oh
I've heard
yeah,
that one
that's the
before.
Black Void term.
Oh, is
like
it?
it a lot.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Very cool. All right, awesome. So moving on from that, then we'll just leave that one with. I think you guys nailed it. How do you guys go about finding a group that you want to play in? So we talked about how you guys kind of got into your first session, but let's say that you find a new TTRPG that you want to get into. Because I know that this is something that a lot of people kind of don't know what to do about. So how would you guys go about finding a group for a game?
I won't have much to say on this because I was
have
thrown
thoughts.
into a group. So everybody, give your heart out.
Yeah, that is how it happens sometimes. A lot of times I think you just end up crossing paths. What about
Yes.
you, or Tori? Do you have an answer for this one?
I do have some thoughts. I also was thrown into a group. I fortunately had friends who were already playing things like that. But I've since then brought many friends into my own group and introduced them to new games and stuff. So that is always an option. I don't feel like you have to have a pre-built group to get started. You can start a group where no one has played before and you can just all learn together, and that's fine and fun. You can also, maybe not right now with COVID, but some game stores do have, like D&D nights or Pathfinder nights. Those are a couple of different tabletop RPGs you can play. D&D, for example, has something called Adventurers League. They're just little one-shot adventures that you can come and bring your character to and play for 2 hours or whatever, and that's the only commitment you need. As well as the internet is also a great place to look, especially now. So many people are running virtual games online. You don't even have to leave your house. There is a subreddit called LFG. There's looking for a game, and people will post on there if they need a game master or players. And yeah, those are all of the resources off the top of my head. Feel free to pitch in more.
To add on to that, because you covered like a lot of really, really great ones. Dungeons and Dragons has Adventurers League. Paizo has the same concept, which is called Pathfinder Society, and they have a like national wide like campaign that's going on. And so you show up and you'll play the game with the Paizo assigned GM, and then they will update the story that's going worldwide with what your group did. And it's just really kind of cool to see how that all connects together. Also, you can when you go to conventions. I mean, we're all nerds. We love cons, right? There's going to be a section for TTRPGs, and there'll be people running games there, and there's going to be all different kinds of games. Go talk to people. Be like, hey, what's this game? Because people love talking about their passions, and just bringing it up will get your foot in the door. I have joined games just because I was new to a state, and I was talking to my coworkers, and I was like, hey, I like Dungeons and Dragons. Do you know anybody who plays? And I literally just went over to someone's house and sat down just because I asked if I could play in their game.
Yeah.
So just be bold. Go after what you want.
Yep. On the bold note, I invited my massage therapist to a game once, and that's probably like my most interesting player I ever got to pick into one of my games.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I think those are all awesome answers. Yeah. And Tori, you mentioned with the game stores with COVID right now and everything, I actually do think I saw that a lot of them actually have online options right now for things like Adventurers League and Pathfinder Society. So yes, the internet is full of opportunities for TTRPGs. Did you have anything to add, Katie?
Nope.
Very cool. So I'm going to go to a question from one of the viewers, Blake, who has an awesome question. Do you guys have any good do's and don'ts for new DMs/GMs for planning a campaign?
Sure. Blake, you're going to go to Level 1 Geek's blog, and you're going to check out her article about this. Yeah. But also, I would say don't get too hung up on rules at first, is going to be my first thing. You really want everyone to have fun together. And if everyone's worrying right out the gate about, oh no, did we do this right? Did we do this right? Did we do this right? You're going to like really hamper your ability to have a good time. So just focus on the story to start off and the people. And if everyone's having a good time, you're doing a great job. And if people aren't having a good time, be willing to have like an open conversation with your group, because a the game isn't just about the GM or DM telling their story, right? It's about everyone having a good time and telling the story together. And so if that's missing, then you're gonna have a bad time.
Nice. How about you, Erica? You have anything for that?
No,
Okay.
because I don't GM.
That's not yet. Uh-huh.
Not
Get
yet.
you there, girl.
I actually am going. This is really good advice for me because I want to run a game with my family while I visit them, and I want to run Mouse Guard.
Adorable. That's a good one.
I'll cry while playing because it's just so cute.
Can I add
Sorry.
something?
Oh,
onto
yeah,
that
please
thought?
do.
Yeah. I feel free to explore games. If there are so many tabletop RPGs. D&D is and Pathfinder. Those are two of the most well-known ones. But there are so many games for so many genres and styles, and so if you don't love D&D or love Pathfinder or whatever, that's okay. There's probably a game out there, that if you're into cyberpunk, there's cyberpunk games. If you like more kind of modern realistic stuff, there's that. There's so many options. So don't be afraid to explore, and just when you as a GM find a game that you like and you're excited about, it's way easier to kind of get your group on board as well.
I do want to do a quick plug for Arium. So Arium's a game where TLDR, you and the players create the world together. It's a little bit harder, I've been told, to GM because it's so vast and huge, but that's a really good option because you can create whatever world you want within this game. So Arium is a really good, it's in Kickstarter right now. So that's a really good game to look at. We've done a couple of those on our streams. So that's a good one to take a look at.
And it's not rule intensive, which is nice.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's why I love it.
Do you have anything for this one, Katie?
I have the eternal player perspective.
What's that?
I don't GM games.
Oh, I like it.
I would say, oh my gosh, I had a thought too. Where'd it go? Be that GM that listens to your player and is willing to work through maybe character ideas or listen to the backstory and things like that. Em and Chase have both been DMs for me, so I've messaged them about character concepts, things that would maybe be cool in the game or things like that. Also even be that GM that considers the character at that too, and asks, hey, would this be cool? Or I have ideas. Would you be okay with me doing something with your character? Things like that, because then that gets really engaging too. So
Story consent is so important.
And I'm that person who plays for the story, not the dice rolls. So yeah.
They're so fun. You need that.
Those are so fun. But I'm all about that story.
Awesome. You guys care if I chime in one thought on this?
Go for it.
I care a lot.
Awesome. One thing I think is super important for GMs and something that kind of got me through my nerves when I started GMing is make sure that you establish with every group the number one rule of every TTRPG should be at the start of every rule book is the DM always or the game master always has final say. The TTRPGs are kind of laid out for everybody speaking the same language in the game. But for a game to flow properly and for a game to allow players to have the freedom that's so fun about TTRPGs, sometimes as a game master, you have to go off the books a little bit. And it's good to just kind of make sure that you clarify that with your players. Because, if you are trying to run a fun experience for the players, then they need to trust the game master to, if they think it should go off the books to make a better experience and a fun story, that should happen. And then alongside that, when you're using that, make sure you don't abuse it as the game master. Use it for the fun of the group, and try to be a yes GM, but not exclusively a yes GM. Try to let players do some cool things if they want to, but also still try to moderate if something's going to like ruin immersion or if it's going to throw the story off the hinges. But that's, I think, always been kind of my first GM was like that. And I tried to learn from that. And I think it makes some very fun games is by saying yes to your players whenever you can.
Can I add on to that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I read a article, rule book. I don't even remember where I read it anymore, but they were talking about that, and they said do a yes and or a yes but. So like if your players are exploring an old tomb and they come through a door, they're like, oh my gosh, is there treasure? And you don't have anything planned for this room for there to be treasure for them because you don't want them to get overpowered at this point, or maybe it doesn't make sense for there to be treasure here. You can say, yes, but it's old and rotted, and you can describe the room in a way like, okay, well, you did say yes to your players, but you're also kind of like pushing your same story along, your plan along. It makes it more interesting and it makes them feel more connected to the world. So saying yes and or yes but is like really key phrases to have in your back pocket.
That is beautifully said. That's like kind of what I was trying to get to, but it's a much better way to say it. I love that.
I condensed it.
Yeah.
Stole someone else's words. Thank you, random person, for helping me. I hope it helps somebody else.
We have a comment from Jake on, he says, I thought the number one rule was to have fun.
Oh, you know what?
Real
You are right. I was super
Get
mistaken.
out of here. That's not part of this panel.
We don't have fun here. Get out of here.
Yes, I stand very corrected. Definitely.
Also, I think I
have fun.
put that comment up and I didn't mean to. That was cool.
Well, it was awesome. Look at that power you've
Now
got.
I know how to do that. Oh, never mind. Steph did. Dang it.
I do have one more real quick suggestion on that M made me think of. I've been running a game called The Sprawl with some friends, and that is a different system than D&D. It's a cyberpunk setting, so if you're into cyberpunk, I recommend that game. It's very fun. But one thing that's kind of built into how you run that game is to ask questions of the players and have them answer some of these. So let's bring up M's example again. Obviously, there wouldn't be like a dungeon and treasure in a cyberpunk world, but if they walk into a room and they're like, oh man, what's in here? You can turn that question back on them if you feel confident that you can handle, whatever answer they give you. And as long as they are on board to like work with you, so they don't say like, oh, the most powerful gun in the world and I just happened to find it, but something cool and interesting. And it's really been fun to have the players fill in some of that information. And like Em said, it really gets them invested in the world because it's a detail that they added and that they're excited about.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that a lot of new GMs are nervous about is having like the whole story planned out for the full 4 hours or however long you're playing. But like players add so much to the story that they usually just kind of end up taking it away, and the game master kind of becomes the moderator. And that is so fun for GMing, is to just see the players kind of take the story away. Awesome. So we have another question from one of you awesome viewers from Aid Edwards. I almost said Wade Edwards. Sorry, Wade, for butchering your name.
Sorry, Aid.
As you learn what each of your players like, design adventures that include these things and help each player get their turn to shine. Yeah,
that is a good point. It's not a question, but
it's not a question. You're right. It is a comment. But yeah, that's super spot on, Wade. I agree.
Yes, sharing the spotlight is so important. And as a GM, it's very important to make sure that everyone has time in the spotlight. That was something I'm kind of like a loud person, right? And when I started, I had a tendency just to kind of roll forward, and I'm like, this is awesome. And I was having so much fun with myself that I wasn't making sure that everyone else was having the same fun that I was. And tabletop etiquette is a real thing. And there's another article on Level 1 Geek's blog that you should read that's about good habits. So I would recommend checking that out.
Yeah, I super.
Corey, I'm just pimping your website. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, your website is great for new players.
It really is.
It's very applicable to this.
Thank
I
you.
still have it pinned to my my bar, and I refer to it all the time.
I did just write a new article, in case you didn't see, Erica. It's
I
about
did.
how to deal with toxic and disruptive players at your table, which can also be a really big challenge especially for new GMs who don't necessarily have the built-in confidence to, assert what they need to have happen. That can be a challenge. So if that's a problem you're facing, you can go read my article.
That's awesome. Love it. All right. Next question. Do you guys think that you can still have a great time in TTRPGs without investing a lot of money?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
You don't just, if you want to spend money, but you really don't have to. Dice can be super cheap, and printing out a character sheet is technically free.
Yep, that is true. What about you, Em?
There's also free games. You can check out Free RPG Day at your local game store to try out new content. You can, Paizo, it has an open gaming license, so you can play, like, all their stuff's online. You can just check out Archives of Nethys, and then you'll have everything you need there, even if it's kind of, it's good. And so, yeah, there's definitely options to play games for free. Yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive at all. The original D&D players would just sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper, and they would write out their character sheet. They wouldn't even print one. So,
Erica Kudamarler says you can roll them in You can roll them in Roll20 for free.
Yeah, that's an online site where you can have all of your maps, and you can meet up digitally instead of being in person, which is important for these COVID times. And that's 100% free. And they've got some really great resources, especially like networking resources that I haven't tapped into. But,
yeah, that's another good follow-up to the earlier about how you can find a game. A lot of those virtual tabletops have some good resources for connecting you with people.
Does that so kind of the like Paizo stuff, does that include like manuals and like the player guides?
Yeah, all of Paizo's stuff, aside from like some of their art and their adventure path, their open gaming license, so you can get pretty much like all of the rules you need to play the game from their kind of main hub Archives of Nethys.
But also a lot of indie TTRPGs. Sorry, I love indie gamers, so I'm going to just plug them real quick.
That's what we do.
It's extremely affordable. You can find PDFs from like $5 to $20, and you can pick that up and just play it. And you can, that's an awesome resource. You don't have to go and spend hundreds of dollars on all of the D&D books and bestiaries. Yes, it's pronounced bestiary. I'm sorry. And so it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be as intensive as you want it to be.
Anything to add to that, Tori or Katie? Nope. Okay.
Fire hose in here. Sorry, guys.
You guys covered it all. All right, so we'll move on to the next question. What advice would you guys give to someone who wants to play TTRPGs but is maybe feeling a little bit nervous or shy about it?
I have all the advice.
Do it.
First of all, I was you, so don't feel bad. And also that it's not like I said earlier, like there is not a certain type of person who belongs in this hobby. You don't have to be a nerd. You don't even have to like other nerdy things to enjoy this. Really, we all did this as kids. It's just imagining, and everyone has an imagination. So don't feel like you have to fit a certain stereotype or fit in a certain crowd to play. And there are probably a lot of people you already know who do play who maybe just aren't vocal about it. I remember after I started playing Pathfinder and D&D and other games, I started kind of talking about it a little bit. I was still a little bit uncertain myself, like, do I want people to know that I do this? And once I started talking about it, number one, I found a ton of like coworkers, friends, just like other people who were like, oh yeah, I played, or yeah, I really like D&D, or oh, I've played a few times, it's really fun. And even if they hadn't ever played, the reaction was always like, oh wow, like that sounds really cool, or like, how does that work? Can you explain that to me? And often what happened is I would even maybe get some people interested in playing who had never played before. So anyway, I guess I'm rambling a little bit, but long story short, if you feel like you're the only one in your current group who would be interested in this, you're probably wrong. And maybe you just have to be the first person to vocalize it and talk about it and say like, hey, this sounds cool to me, and just own that. And the response will be positive. People will be excited about it. You'll find people who've played or people who are interested in learning along with you.
Yeah, spot on. You got something,
Em? Yeah. So if you are nervous to sit down and play, you are not alone. That is literally, I don't think I know anybody who didn't sit down and felt nervous when they looked at their character sheet that had a bunch of numbers and they didn't know how to translate those numbers into a narrative. So my advice would be, don't worry so much about your character sheet right off the bat. Make it a conversation between you and the players and your GM, and say, hey, this is what I would like to do. You think about the story that's happening around you and you're listening to everyone else, and you try and think of it as if you're watching a movie and you're participating in the movie, and you describe how you want to act in that portion of whatever you want to do. Let's say, you know what, I really would like to attack this thing. It's a big, nasty bugbear and it's eating my friend. The thing that I would do right now is I would attack it and try and save my friend. And so then you tell that to the person who's running the game, and they will tell you exactly what you need to roll in order to do that. And it is absolutely fine to ask a question, be like, okay, so how does that work? Like, I rolled an attack, but what does this attack mean? And they can break it down for you. An attack is your strength. That makes sense. How strong I am determines how well I'm going to hit. It's going to be your class. If I am a caster and I cast magic, maybe I'm not going to be great at punching a bugbear. Maybe that's not going to be my thing. So it's not going to be as good as if I was a 20 level fighter and was swole to heck. So yeah, ask those questions, and because that'll help you be invested, which will help everyone else be invested.
Yeah, spot on. And as a side note, I now want a t-shirt that says swole as heck. Just so you know.
Yeah, and it's going to be a barbarian that is like, brah!
Yeah.
Bruh.
I want it to be a skinny barbarian.
Yes.
Right about to
I love
rage and then get like
No, just a skinny barbarian.
swole as heck. As a psych major, Tori, that makes me so happy. Never feeling alone and making an inclusive environment is key. What's it?
Oh, thank you, Wes.
Yeah.
That's my friend from high school, you guys.
Awesome. How
That's
fun.
adorable.
Erica, do you have any advice for people who are nervous or shy to start?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Because you are going to go into it with exactly the questions that Tori and Emily mentioned. Don't be afraid to ask questions, or else you'll feel, you'll get that tight chest feeling and like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is really stressful. Just ask questions. It's okay. Even with some of the streams that we do, the more experienced players are like, hey, I have a question about this. This is how this spell works, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's asking questions at any level, so don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah. Agree. What about you, Katie? Any other advice?
Well,
Be good.
want to get, no, not for someone who is nervous about it. I wouldn't say that. I've gotten coworkers kind of interested in it from telling stories of campaigns. So my advice is to tell stories to other people that might be nervous about it, because I've found that actually gets more people interested in it. If you're telling the story, because then that makes you less nervous, but then you're like, oh yeah, and that happened, and then oh wait, it led into this, and then you're telling some insanity woven story, and you're like, oh yeah, that was actually pretty cool, and then you ultimately end up getting more people interested in it, and then they ask if they can come watch a game.
Which was fun, but also awkward because they didn't want to play. They
Yeah.
just wanted to watch.
And then it
Oh.
happened to be a session where we were shopping.
Oh, we've got a specific example. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do host.
You were there, Wilson.
You were running
Oh, yeah,
the game,
okay.
dude.
I remember that. Yeah. No, I think that's good advice, though. Advice to help people who might be shy, make it sound so amazing that the interest overcomes the shyness.
Also, go watch. There's internet. It's such a great resource. Just go watch some stuff, man.
Go watch us.
Comfortable. You could watch us. We're on Facebook of Dice and Names. And we're nice.
Yeah, we
Most of the
test
time.
out. Most of the time. We test out a bunch of different games. So just because it's fun to watch. I really like that aspect of what we do because it's really useful for new players because we're all starting a new system and testing it together. So
And we screw up.
Exactly.
Right.
I screw up all the time. It's great.
Who was it that said the first rule was having fun? Josh?
Jake.
Well, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it was Josh.
You're pretty on point, Josh. I'll
Yeah.
give you your point back.
It was Jake Dietz.
Jake.
Oh, Jake.
I'm
Jake.
pretty sure that's how you say your last name. I don't know.
All right. So you guys feeling brave? Because I would like to break up the questions for a second and give a request.
Okay.
I know the viewers all want to hear it. I would like each of you to say a line in your favorite or best character voice.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I go last?
You know what? I think we're gonna start with Katie, and then we're gonna go. You're gonna go in the middle somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I have to get prepared.
Oh, it's like really one word though that she said all
That's
the
okay.
time.
Yeah, go for it.
It really isn't going to make any sense. And a tiefling barbarian, and she had a very, very best friend, and her name was Gali.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Let's see. Tori is lagging out a little bit, so we'll go to her last. We'll go to Erica next.
Okay, my sister made a comment. She says, "Get out the teeth, Erica."
Yes.
You have them
Wait,
right
do you
there.
have the teeth? Oh, you're so prepared.
You're right next to me.
Nice.
So this is my there's no glue, so I have to like talk like this for a second. I have to think of something he said. I have to think of something that he would say. Tomorrow I am about to water my peonies. I need some extra herbs and some other things. So please don't interrupt me for the next couple of hours. That's my cat folk.
Perfect. Yes, love it. All right, you're up.
I don't know if it's my favorite character, but this is the character that I did for Tabletop Treasure Hunters, the season 1. I don't know if I can put this face back on. She died, so I don't know if I can pull this back out. Do you really want to play this kind of game with me?
Nice.
I miss Lucy so much.
All right, Tori, your turn.
Okay. This is a character, this is an NPC, a non-player character. So this is someone I came up with as I was running a game. And it makes me feel good because some of the players who were in that group still remember this stupid character. But I feel like the description of her makes a difference. She's a gnome with pink troll hair that is just like straight up, and her name is Winky Fuzzle Snoot.
Oh!
Hi, I'm Winky. Want to be friends forever?
Oh my gosh, the cuteness.
Awesome. Oh, that's perfect, guys. Thank you very much. I'm sure that the viewers love that. I know that voices, I think, are something that new players are a little bit nervous about, but like, if you can get into it, it's fun. Even if the voice isn't good, it's fun. Like, just go for it.
I'm terrible at voices. I try all the time.
Katie is
I
really
really-
good at voices.
I really hope that it doesn't make people cringe when I try, but I'm having fun. Jake got my back.
Your voices aren't bad. You do better than you think with your voices.
Thanks. Thanks, guy.
All right. So going on to the next.
Oh, I think we might actually be at time.
Oh, are we at time?
Oh, we still have like 5 minutes.
Do we have 5 minutes? Okay.
Got 5 minutes.
When time is just about up, stuff will pop in.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. So let's go on to another question. This is one that I would like to hear answered because this is something I hear all the time when I try to invite people, and it's something I said myself when I first tried to get into TTRPGs, or when somebody tried to get me into TTRPGs. In a world where we have such awesome video games with visuals and role-playing stories, why would anybody play a TTRPG? How would you answer that question, Erica?
Oh. And I said I didn't want to know the questions beforehand. It's when it comes to video games and your own immersion, for my experience, that's mostly first like single player games, because those are the type of immersion that really gets you in there and you're focused and you go into gamer mode and you just go through the things. When it came to doing TTRPGs for the first time, the immersion only came through everybody that was with me, the entire table. So I think the real reason to do it is it's a different type of immersion. When it comes to video games, everything is right there for you. You can see it with your own eyes, whereas with TTRPGs, you are helping to create the world that you are now seeing. And it's important to be that person to help create the world, because that you're helping to put together your own immersion. So it's two different types, and it's worth experiencing both.
Yeah, very nice. You look like you had a thought, Katie.
Oh my gosh, so passionate about it. In what other setting are you going to be able to be so creative with your friends in this collaborative storytelling where you can make this world go wherever the hell you want it to go and collect things along the way? You can't get that in a video game. Video games have their set storylines. They have a beginning, middle, and end point, and campaigns might have it too, but think of the offshoots that you can do with it, right? You've got your friends, you've got these little universes that you can make, you've got your multiverses, and you can just continue to grow those with the people that you know, and just be creative. You can't do that in a video game, and I am so just pro being creative and doing all of that with your friends. There's nothing better or more thrilling.
What a good answer. Are we at time, Steph?
We are, unfortunately, because you guys were fantastic. I know, like, my husband's writing a campaign right now. I know so many people who are getting into TTRPGs right now for the reasons that you guys talked about. So I think this is so helpful for people putting their feet into this whole world, and all of that is involved in it. Before I announce the winners, I think we need to do this real quick.
Yes.
What's my favorite voice I've ever done? Oh man, is my voice warmed up enough for that in the morning? So so I did a crazy cat folk last season. Her name was Reseki, and she liked to do very odd things like use blue bunnies and throw them into the air to make strange reagents, and then she would swap bodies with one of the players who drank her strange brew.
Oh my gosh!
That's fantastic. Well, perfect. All right, I want to show the prizes again. So the first one is going to be the $50 gift card from Ice Cream Dice and the level 1 Geek shirt.
Yes.
And the winner for that is Steve Kondrick.
Nice.
Just donated $110 during this panel. So
What a champion.
And then our second prize for this one, because it's the last day of con and we're going to go do 2 prizes for each one, is the commission from Noob Mom, some of her art, and another level 1 Geek shirt. And the winner for that is Jennifer Wick.
Yay!
So those are some awesome prizes. I'm so stoked. Again, do you guys want to plug yourselves real fast before we clock out?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chase.
I'm Chase, Wholesome Dad Gamer. I'm over on Facebook. I do tabletop treasure hunters, TTRPGs, all that fun stuff.
Awesome.
Oh.
Erica?
I was like, I'm probably next. I'm Erica. I am with Of Dice and Dames.
Awesome.
My name is Emily, also known as Anthrama. I'm also part of Dice and Games. If you need help promoting your game, your stream, your podcast, let us know. We'll help you out.
Awesome. Katie?
I'm Katie, and what Emily said.
And Tori.
Okay, sorry. Is it me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Tori. You can find me at Level 1 Geek on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also, if this panel was interesting to you, if you want to learn how to get into tabletop RPGs, you can go to my website at level1geek.com because that is literally what I write about. So go check it out.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I wanted to show too. Awesome. Well, thank you
thank you,
guys. Have a good
Yay!
day for participating.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.